fucker. Jesus! What? He's still conscious. So? Well, I mean, he might have heard my voice, and so what if he did? Well, he might recognise who I am, Kat.
Tomboys, which is really my first feature that got a release, and that was really an attempt at a one-room scenario, because a lot of the things you'll get taught in film school is, you know, when you do your first feature, try and do it in a small environment. If you can do what we call a dressed-up stage play, it's always a good exercise. It was also a challenge, and I set myself this challenge, and I always do challenge myself, and that is, how do you keep an audience interested with 5 people in one room for 90 minutes? That's a challenge. That's also a writing challenge. So you're having to come up with twists and turns and so many different, sort of strategies to try and make that work. So for me, it was more about, okay, if I'm going to do my first feature, it probably should be horror, because I know I can achieve some goals with that. I don't need a big budget to get some screams. I just need some blood. I need some action. Coming out of, end of film school, I had crew at my disposal, guys that I'd worked with and made, multiple short films with. So it was kind of like having the heavyweights from the film school. We started out with 40 people. We ended up with, maybe a dozen. So it was really the big guns that I took with me to go on this mission and make this movie together. But then, of course, some of my industry contacts as well, and people from Melbourne and people I knew. So it was really kind of a family affair in a way. Initially, which I think you're going to be amazed, I don't think I've ever said this in any interview, ever. Half of it was a raffle.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not afraid to say that myself and some of the crew, we went to some really far out suburbs, and we had a legitimate raffle where I think it was something like, $5 a ticket, win yourself an extra part in this movie. And we made a lot of money, man. We made a lot of money doing that. And it was all above board, registered business, everything. But yeah, a lot of people just wanted to support. It was out on foot canvassing. Back then, I was hungry. I didn't have the money. I had no shame. I just went out there and tried to get the money, which is interesting because now that would be called crowdfunding. But I was actually literally on foot getting the money instead of on the internet,
Yeah, okay.
So that got us started. Yeah, but there was other money, there was private investment, and then eventually when I got to post-production, I'd run out of money, and then the distributors put in the rest. But you see, that's where you kind of have to be careful, because once a distributor does that, then they own the movie. So it was kind of a case of, well, I've pushed this as far as I can, I don't want to shelve it, I'm kind of at their mercy now, I'm going to lose some control, I'm going to lose some money, but at least it'll be finished. And to me, it's all about the integrity of finishing the project before the money. It's about finishing the vision. So, because that's the only thing that's going to get you to your next film. It was 10 days straight, night shoots in the middle of winter. And I think Saw had just come out, and I'd heard rumours that it was like an 18-day shoot. And so I was like, well, we're going to beat them. We're going to do a 9-day shoot. You know what I mean? And the joke was, because on the cover of Saw, I think there was like a severed arm or a severed leg. And ours was, we're just going to have like a severed hand. It's going to be like half. So this was how we kind of, pumped everyone up to do it.
I'm gonna let you live. But I'm gonna make sure that you, like me, will never ever be able to have sex again without feeling the pain.
How do you shock your audience? How do you become unique or do something that's going to draw attention? So for me, obviously without much money, when you're doing a rape revenge film, you've got to cut off the guy's prick, right? How else am I going to get a scare? We've all seen someone get stabbed, we've all seen someone get shot, but not often do you see that. The last time I'd seen something similar was, I think, Spit on Your Grave, but it wasn't done in the fashion and the way I shot it, which was really graphic. And I will say this too, the movie was banned.
Oh, really?
When we took the initial cut to border classifications, they said, this shot, no go, this shot, no go, this shot, no go. There were several edits that we had to make just to bring it down to an R rating. So all of a sudden there was this stigma. It's like, wow, so Nathan Hill's made this first feature film and it's banned. I'm very methodical when it comes to pre-production, and I know exactly what I'm doing when I get to set. So I've rehearsed it. When I get to set, I call it execution. It's not trying to find the scene on set or trying to find the drama or the emotion on set. It's already been rehearsed. So when I get to set, it's really execution. So we run pretty smooth. That's the only way we were able to do it in 9 days or 10 days. My shooting ratio in film school was 3-to-1. I've never gone over 10-to-1, but generally I'm about 5 takes per shot. So I think it was premiered at Federation Square, ACMI, packed house, 500, 600, 700 people. I don't know, it was huge. The reactions to the penis being severed and all of the parts I loved, the reactions were spot on. I mean, there was screaming, there was, I don't know if people were vomiting, but it was good. It was a good reaction. It was the one I wanted. People were scared. They were thrilled. They were on the edge of the seat. I felt like I'd, mission accomplished. Straight away, automatically went to Shock. At one point, the movie was even going to be called Shock. It was kind of like the poster banner for Shock Entertainment, because Shock's label was more so known for its music. I mean, they were pumping out DVDs, but they hadn't really financed a whole feature yet. So Tomboys was becoming kind of like the poster boy feature for Shock at the time.